Hey YouTube, I thought I'd do a quick video today. I just got a quick announcement. Apparently there is a thing going around. Actually, it's pretty much known that it is going to happen for your Cedar Point homeboys up north. Better get your rides in this year on Gemini, because I had a little birdie telling me that Gemini is leaving after this season. So I'm sure maybe later on this year they'll probably make an announcement sometime later on and tell everybody to get their rides in for the last rides and stuff like that. I hate to hear that. I really do, because I really like Gemini. When you go down that first hill and it looks like you're going to get your head knocked off with those steel beams, I mean, it's just freaking awesome. You know, it's a really good coaster. It's smooth, it's nice, it takes the turns really slow, which is kind of, you know, boring a little bit, but it's a neat coaster. It's got a hell of a finish at the end of the ride. I really like Gemini, and I remember years ago going up there, and they used to have 3 trains on each side. I mean, that's 6 trains. That's a big roller coaster that hold a lot of people, you know. And of course they took it down to 2 trains on each side later, you know, several years ago, because the popularity of Gemini kind of waned a little bit. And plus Cedar Point added so many more roller coasters that, you know, it took the thrill away from Gemini. So Gemini had its big heyday back in the 70s when it was, you know, big back then, in the 80s. 70s and 80s was really big for Gemini. And Gemini was, and still is, a great coaster. It really is. I hate to hear that. It kind of makes me sick to my stomach a little bit, because I hate it when I hear that a roller coaster is going to be taken out. Especially since I haven't been to Cedar Point in a few years. It's been a little bit. And I hate to hear it. You know, I'd like to get up there to be able to ride Gemini at least once more before it does get gone, if that's what's going to happen. But supposedly that's what's going around the little rumor mill, and I think it's true. Some people said that they've seen some markings underneath the ride on some of the poles. They're marked. Some of them were tagged with little flags, some little flags underneath, like survey markers and things like that. So I would say that probably they're looking to replace something in place of Gemini, and I'd say it'd be another new roller coaster more than likely. And probably, I think they're going to go with a small scale type, maybe a Gerstlauer type roller coaster, something like what they put in at Carowinds, because Copperhead Strike is really, I mean, they're getting rave reviews over that roller coaster. So with that being said, it wouldn't put it past that they may go with a Gerstlauer roller coaster up there at Cedar Point for possibly next summer. And then again, I don't see them getting it next summer, just because the King's On is definitely confirmed with a Giga coaster. And with the cost of that and with the other, I just don't see it happening. So is this really going to be the last year for Gemini, or is Gemini going to be at least around maybe one more year? Or is Cedar Point looking for clearing out Gemini after this season and working on that space for the next project, which will probably come in 2022, which would make sense for them? It'd be about time for them to get another roller coaster. So that's what I'm thinking. 2022 is going to be the year for Cedar Point. I still am thinking that next year that King's Dominion will be getting a roller coaster next year to replace Volcano. I know Volcano was not a planned demolition. That happened because they had some mechanical issues at the beginning of the season, and they said, well, it's done. So they said, you know, for the fix would have been too costly, so they figured, well, just go ahead and take it out. It's met its end, you know, it's end of its service life. So unfortunately, Volcano was a great coaster. I got to ride it when I was at King's Dominion. I loved it. I thought it was a great coaster. It's been quite a few years ago, but I loved it. It was a great coaster. But anyway, I hate to see that go. But again, it was into the service life, so it had to go. It was time for it to go. So I do think that Kings Dominion will be getting a roller coaster next year, along with Kings Island. And I would say that the coaster that Kings Dominion is going to get will be on a lower scale model for money-wise, budget reasons, and with a possible budget giga at Kings Island. You're going to have to spread the money around, and maybe that might be the reason why that they have to share the money, because of the what happened with Volcano being removed at Kings Dominion. I know that was unexpected, because otherwise they would have took it out over this winter time. So we know that it was definitely an unexpected move for them to remove a roller coaster at the beginning of a new season. So with that said, with Kings Dominion down down a roller coaster, they're going to replace that, just like they are doing at Kings Island with replacement of Firehawk, which is going to be an awesome coaster. Please don't bash the new coaster at Kings Island. We don't know what it's going to be until it actually happens. And I'm telling you what, I think the coaster is going to pack a hell of a punch. I think it's going to be something different from the other B&M Giga coasters. I think it's going to be more intense, maybe airtime possibly, or who knows what they might have up their sleeve. But I'm thinking that it's going to be a high-class thrill attraction next year that possibly could be the best new roller coaster for the entire year across the entire world. So we'll see. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But even if it is, a budget giga like everybody says it is, that don't degrade it, because you know what, it might be better than Fury 325. Who knows? Everybody will find out next year. So don't bash Kings Island new Giga coaster. It's due for Kings Island, and I will say that this will probably be the last coaster Kings Island will receive for a few years. It's going to be a while before Kings Island sees another roller coaster, since they've gotten Banshee in 2014, Mystic Timbers in 2017, and now this one in 2020. I would say the next year that Kings Island possibly will see a new roller coaster will probably be 2025 or 2026. That sounds like a long way out, but 5 years, that's not really that long. But I still think it's going to be at least that long before Kings Island sees their next roller coaster after this new one coming up. Just because this one here is going to cost a pretty good bundle of money, and it will be Kings Island's largest investment in history. It will be at least a $30 million roller coaster. I'm thinking it's going to be closer to 35 to 40, but it's definitely going to be over $30 million for this coaster. Don't know how much it will actually be unless if they release the cost, and lately they haven't really been releasing cost, but we did find out Mystic Timbers was a $15 million coaster, which is really surprising me. I thought it would only be maybe a $10 million, but it was actually a $15 million roller coaster. So, Banshee $24 million, and Diamondback was $22 million, and here's a GCI Woody, Mystic Timbers being a $15 million roller coaster, so that's pretty huge. So there's a lot of money involved there, and it's going to take a few years to pay that off. So we're glad to see it coming. I'm happy to see it coming, and I hope everybody out there don't bash Kings Island's new roller coaster, because I'll tell you what, you don't know. You just don't know what it's going to be like until we actually ride it. One thing I do know, I've heard that they are going to put restrooms in that area. Somebody I know said that they was definitely talking about that even in the past couple of years, that they needed some bathrooms in that area, because they're clear on either end of Coney Mall. I mean, you have to walk quite a ways away from that area, and there is no restroom in that area. So I look for them to put a set of restrooms in there. I do see that coming. So, and possible a little small food kiosk, just a small thing, where you can probably get some pop or something like that, snacks. All right, I'm gonna keep this video under 10 minutes. So, anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there for the little rumor thing that's coming around. Ride Gemini, as if you're a Cedar Point fan, you better get it in. All right. Take care, guys, and I will talk to you here soon. I'll put another video out soon. See ya. Bye.